I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I would be doing post-game reaction videos to each Team USA game in the Olympics, with really the focus around Zach Lavine, since he's our guy on the team getting exposure on a global scale. And boy, was this a disappointing game. This was the first loss for Team USA since the Athens Olympics in 2004. The US was on a 24-game winning streak up until today, and in the last 3 minutes of that game, France completely took over, went on an 11-0 run to upset Team USA in a final score of 83-76, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. So what's going on, everyone? You were listening to Bull Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Guys, very quick, we did have our winner of the jersey giveaway. Obviously, not that many people predicted that France would win. In fact, I think only one person did pick France to win the game, and they were way off in their predictions. So the person with the closest prediction by point differential was Kahlo. So congrats on winning this giveaway. Please DM me so you can claim your prize. You can either message me on Instagram, Twitter, or send me an email. And for those who didn't win this time around, don't worry, I am doing 3 more giveaways for a total of 5 giveaways on the way to 10,000 subscribers. Now, as for this game, let me first start by saying, give France credit. I think it's easy to say, because this is Team USA and they're the best basketball players in the world, so this should be an easy win for them. Because it's the US, likely they shouldn't really be any excuse for them to lose in international competition, which is why they have won 24 straight Olympic Games and always bring home the gold. But I think it's noteworthy that as basketball becomes more and more global of a sport, you're going to start to see other countries be more and more competitive. And it's not like France is a lousy team. They have a lot of talent on that roster. They have an all-star player and defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert. They have Evan Fournier of the Boston Celtics, who dominated this game as the leading scorer with 28 points. And they have Nicolas Batum. This isn't like some other countries that the US will be playing where they don't have a single player in the NBA that's going to be competing in the Olympics. That being said, as great as France was, especially on the defensive end, Team USA completely dropped the ball in the fourth, no pun intended, and completely let this one get away from them. France went on a 16-2 run to close out the game, which is unacceptable in Olympic play, and France clearly wanted it more than the US did. They looked hungrier, more energized, and were hustling on every play. Team USA turned the ball over a lot down the stretch, particularly Damian Lillard, which is rare to see, and they kept hoisting up threes at the end of the game, which they really didn't need to do and could not just knock down any of those threes. Overall, they shot 10 for 32 from behind the arc. Not that France shot it much better, they were 8 for 27, but what France did well was scoring inside the paint, shooting 46% from the field overall, while the US shot 36%. France also out-rebounded the Americans, which was pretty surprising, although Gobert did a great job at boxing out guys down low, preventing them from getting boards. It's funny because I think what people automatically assume is these are all-stars and former all-stars or near stars in the NBA on Team USA. That, this should be a team that blows out everyone out in international play. And you see them play together and they look kind of sloppy, not very well organized, a little all over the place. Guys are taking bad shots, and you kind of have to remind yourself and say, these guys don't practice all the time together like you would see on an NBA team. They're not going to look as smooth as you would see watching an NBA team of 2 clubs playing together, because these guys aren't used to playing together. And yes, they had a couple weeks practicing and training together in Vegas before coming over. But the other thing is, these guys are all some of the best players in the game. So unlike a regular NBA team where you have a clearly defined person, you have clearly defined roles and responsibilities, you generally have a go-to number 1 option or a number 2 option on a team. So it was weird seeing them, especially down the stretch, being like, okay, well, Kevin Durant is going to take over in this game. And then you realize, well, wait, Damian Lillard is also an option. Wow, you even have Devin Booker or even Jason Tatum, even Zach Lavine. And I don't know, but to me, it felt like the players were kind of viewing it the same way. A lot of guys were looking timid in terms of who to give the ball to hit some of these big shots down the stretch. And because they were hesitant in making the extra pass that wasn't needed, guys were missing shots that probably weren't the best options to take. Like, there was even a play with about a minute and a half to go where Zach Lavine was wide open for a 3. And he had just hit a 3 not that long prior to that. He pump fakes even though he was open, dribbles it to the top of the key and passes it out to Kevin Durant, who then was also open. He passes it to Damian Lillard, who then passes up to Holiday, who missed a 3. And why so many threes? I mean, this is the problem I have with the modern day NBA. Yes, the outside shooting is fun. especially when those shots are going down for your team. But this is why they say you live and die by the three, because the US could not find their three-point shot late in game, and rather than setting up a play to go inside, or hell, even taking a mid-range jumper, they kept throwing up threes and missed the majority of them. And that's what cost them this game. Team USA was up 8 going into the half, and then they lost that lead in the third quarter when France went on a run. They regained that lead and the momentum in the beginning of the fourth quarter, taking a 6-point lead at one point. And I thought, well, this is where the US is going to not look back and now take over the game with that kind of momentum. But no, they kept settling for threes. France came back, took the lead, and even when there was less than 2 minutes to go, and France was only up by 2, you had multiple guys trying to put up hero 3 balls to take the lead. Anyway, it was a disappointing game to say the least, especially when you become so accustomed to seeing Team USA win. But let's talk about Zach Lavine for a minute, since that's the guy we care about most on this roster. So Lavine did get the start for USA. There was speculation on whether he would actually start over Jason Tatum, like we saw in the final exhibition games. And Lavine, although had a decent game, he did come out looking a little hesitant, often a bit timid on offense, passing up the ball on plays where we would otherwise normally see him take over, which again, I think this is a product of playing on an all-star studded roster. You have so many guys to go to that you may not feel right being the one to take over like you're used to on your club team in the NBA. But I think after a bit of a shaky first start, he started looking more comfortable out there by the second half, and he actually hit a very big 3 late in the game to put the US up, which I thought was going to be the turning point where the Team USA actually closes out the game. But of course, we know what happened. Overall, not a bad game for Zach. He had 8 points, shooting 3 for 6 and 2 for 4 from 3. I know you're probably thinking 8 points for Zach, that's it? Yeah, we're used to seeing him put up 25 plus easy for the Bulls. Well, again, multiple scoring options for this team. Minutes are going to be more evenly dispersed, and obviously not as many minutes in the game with the shorter quarters in the Olympics, and defense is obviously more prevalent in international play. So hopefully the US bounces back and really sees this game as a wake-up call that they can't just come in here and expect to rout the entire board on their way to an easy gold medal. No, international competition has gotten better, and they're going to have to play even more focused and earn it if they want to bring home the gold. This team's next game will be on Wednesday against Iran, which you would hope would be much easier than the one that they just played today. But either way, I'll be giving you guys a recap of the game with focus on Zach Lavine and his performance. Congrats to our winner for the jersey giveaway. As always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.